Hello students, welcome to your channel Parivartan Physics. See, we are in the series of videos where we are learning NEET and KCET Physics. In this series of videos, you will learn physics to the depth which is required to crack the exams like NEET as well as KCET. Right? So those who are preparing for NEET as well as KCET, for them these videos are surely very helpful. So you can go through the videos once. Okay, so we are in the chapter motion in a straight line. Units and measurement is already uploaded. So this is the sixth video actually. So this is the sixth video on motion in a straight line. Okay. So in this video, we are going to discuss about vertical motion, everything related to vertical motion, and we'll solve some objectives on vertical motion. Mainly, you have to understand how to solve the MCQs on vertical motion. That is what you have to learn in this video, right? Okay, let us go to the concept first. See, freely falling body. What is a freely falling body? Freely falling body is anything which is moving in air. Whatever may be its path, ಅದು vertically upwards move ಆಗಲಿ, vertically downwards move ಆಗಲಿ, projectile motion path na move ಆಗಲಿ, horizontal direction move ಆಗಲಿ. If it is moving in air only under the action of gravity, then it is called freely falling body. See, freely falling andre it is not necessary to be falling down only. ಅದು ನಮಗೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬೀಳಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ necessity ಏನು ಅಲ್ರಿ. If it is freely falling, see, freely falling means only the falling body ಅಥವಾ the body which is moving downwards. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ freely falling ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. Freely falling andre ಏನ್ರಿ, it should be moving in air freely only under the action of gravity. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ gravitational force ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ freely falling body ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Path whatever it may be moving down, it may be moving up, it may be moving horizontally, it may be moving in projectile direction, whatever its path may be. It has to be moving in air. It has to be moving in air. Only gravitational force must be acting on it. Then it is said to be a freely falling body. And in all these cases, see, freely falling body ittappa antandre atrada acceleration namagu fix irtadri, it will be g, 9.8 meter per second square. Its acceleration is fixed. Its acceleration is constant. That's why it is called uniform accelerated motion. Idu ಅದರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಈ vertical motion ಗೆ uniform accelerated motion ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Okay, we got to know this much about freely falling body. See, I will consider a case here in which a ball is thrown vertically upwards. In which a ball is thrown vertically upwards. A ball is thrown vertically upwards with a certain initial velocity called as u. Right? It is thrown vertically upwards. This ball will travel up till a certain height and it will come back to the ground. Right? It will travel a certain height and it will come back to the ground. Clear? Okay. See, when the ball is moving upwards, when the ball is moving upwards, at that time, the velocity of the ball goes on decreasing. Velocity ನಮಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ decrease ಆಗೋತ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. If I have thrown the ball with a speed of 20 meter per second, then the velocity goes on decreasing like this. How? 20, 15, 10, 5, 0. So velocity is decreasing. If velocity is decreasing with the time, then acceleration is said to be negative. That's why when it is moving up, its acceleration is taken as minus g. Why? Because velocity is decreasing. See, at the highest point, velocity of the ball will be 0, but acceleration will not be 0. How much will be the acceleration? Acceleration will be g only. It will be g, right? Okay, while coming down in downwards motion, its velocity goes on increasing. The magnitude of velocity goes on increasing. However, direction here, the direction of the velocity was upwards. Here, the direction of the velocity is downwards. Clear? Okay, next. Since velocity is increasing with the time, acceleration will be positive, that is plus g. With how much velocity we have thrown the ball upwards, with the same velocity it will come and hit the ground. So the final velocity at the final point will be equal to u only, but it will be opposite in direction. Here it was upwards, here it is downwards. Clear? Okay. See, g here we have taken negative because velocity is decreasing. G here we have taken positive because velocity is increasing. In this way we can say it. See, one more thing you have to understand, any body which is moving in air, either upwards or downwards or horizontally, only one force will be acting on it, that is gravitational force. And due to gravitational force, this body will be having only one acceleration, that is called as acceleration due to gravity. What will be the direction of gravitational force? Downwards. Then what will be the direction of acceleration due to gravity? Downwards only. So the direction of acceleration due to gravity will be always downwards. Why? Because force is equal to mass into acceleration. Here acceleration means acceleration due to gravity. So the acceleration due to gravity is always downwards. So ಈಗ ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವೇ ಒಳಗೆ ಇದನ್ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. Sin of g, you can understand it in one more way. See, when we are moving upwards, the velocity is in upward direction. Direction of velocity ನಮಗೆ upwards ಅದು. Direction of g ಯಾವ ಕಡೆ ಇರ್ತದ್ರಿ? ಡೌನ್ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ velocity ದ opposite direction ಒಳಗೆ g ಇರ್ತದೆ. That's why minus ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. This is the second reason. First reason was magnitude of velocity was decreasing. That's why g is negative. First reason. Second reason is velocity is in upward direction. Acceleration due to gravity will always be in downward direction. That's why they are opposite, and hence it is minus g. Adra reverse ನಾವು ಈ ಕಡೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. U is also in v is also in same direction. G is also in same direction. That's why it is plus. Clear? Okay. How much will be the change in velocity throughout this journey? So the change in velocity throughout the journey will be equal to initial velocity minus final velocity, right? So it will be 2u. This much is the change in velocity. So the change in velocity in this case is 2u. Okay, next equations of motion. Nodri, common equations of motion now rectilinear motion the nಮಗೆ equations iddu avey equations ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ apply ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. v is equal to u plus at so and so, right? Same, but just we have to replace displacement by height and acceleration by g. If the body is moving upwards, g should be taken minus. If the body is moving downwards, g should be taken plus. Okay, what are the formulas? Formulas are v is equal to u plus gt, v is equal to u plus gt, h is equal to ut plus half gt square, ut plus half gt square, v square minus u square is equal to 2gh. v square minus u square is equal to 2gh. This is all these equations what I have written now. This is for downward motion. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ g ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಇವ equations ನೀವು upward motion ಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ g ನೀವು ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. That's it. Okay, distance traveled in nth second, Sn is equal to u plus g by 2 into the bracket 2n minus 1. Right? This is the distance traveled in nth second. Okay. Now, how much will be the equation for the height reached? See, if you throw a body with a certain initial velocity, it will reach a certain height, and that height is called maximum height, right? Maximum height reached by the body. Okay, so the maximum height reached by that ball is given by h max is equal to maximum height reached by the projectile. It is u square by 2g, and in terms of time, we can write it as gt square by 8. See, this is the maximum height reached by the ball. Here we have written it in terms of initial velocity and acceleration due to gravity. Here we have written it in terms of acceleration due to gravity and time of flight. Time of flight andre time taken for the motion of the ball from ground to the ground, upwards plus downwards. E complete motion ke ಎಷ್ಟು time ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತದೆ, that is time of flight. That is what we are using here. Okay, this is the maximum height reached by that ball which is thrown vertically upwards. Time taken, see, time taken to reach from ground to the maximum height. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೋತದ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟು ದ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಏನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೋತದ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಟ್ both will be equal. Time taken to reach the maximum height will be equal to time taken by the ball to reach the ground again from the maximum height. So both will be equal, and these both will be equal to u by g. Time of ascent equal to time of descent equal to u by g. Then time of flight, time taken to go up and come down. Time taken to go up and come down, that is time of flight. So this will be equal to 2 times of time of ascent ಅನ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ time of ascent plus time of descent ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಬೋದು. So this will be equal to 2u by g. u by g plus u by g, that will be equal to 2u by g. So this much will be the time taken, right? So this much time it will take to go up and to come down, right? Okay, so we got to know about time of flight. See, next, so these are the equations of motion. What we have written, these are the equations of motion. Next, we'll take a drop down body. Drop down body. Drop down body means what? Drop down body means a body which has been released from a certain height. One height ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಒಂದು body ನೀವು just release ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. You should just make it free. You should not throw it with a certain velocity. If you throw it with a certain velocity, it is not drop down body. You just leave it. That is called drop down body. You should not give the velocity for that, right? Okay, drop down body means its initial velocity will be 0. Drop down body means its initial velocity is 0. Okay, from a certain height called as h. ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ h height ಇಂದ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೀವಿ? We are dropping a ball. Dropping a ball means dropping ಅಥವಾ released. ಈ ತರ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮೇಡ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಈ ತರ ಏನಾದರೂ ವರ್ಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ನಾವು 0 ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಹೈಟ್ ನಮಗೆ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ h ಇದೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಫಾಲ್ ಡೌನ್, ರೈಟ್? ಓಕೆ, see, initial velocity is 0, but final velocity will not be 0. With a certain velocity it will hit the ground, right? So the velocity with which it will hit the ground is v is equal to root 2 gh. With this much velocity it will hit the ground. V is equal to root 2 gh. Time taken by the ball to reach the ground, time taken by the ball to reach the ground is root 2h by g, root 2h by g. So this much will be the time taken by the ball to reach the surface of earth. Okay, so we got to know about the drop down body as well as a body which is thrown vertically upwards. Clear? Okay, next we'll go for some important points which we have to remember regarding freely falling body. Okay, so the first point is ratio of distances traveled in first 1 second, first 2 second, first 3 second equal to 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, so on. That is 1:4:9:16, so on. Okay, what does this first second, first 2 second, first 3 second means? See, if I have thrown a ball, if I have dropped the body from this point, if I drop the body from this point, and let me say here 1 second will pass. Illige namagu 1 second ಆಯ್ತು, right? Illige 1 more second ಆಯ್ತು, 1 more second. Illige ನಮಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು second ಆಯ್ತು, right? So this is the journey of 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. First 1 second means from starting point to this point. This is called first 1 second. First 1 second. First 2 second means from the starting point to this. This is called first 2 second. Andre from the beginning point ನೀವು ತಗೋಬೇಕು. First 3 seconds andre from the starting point to this point. This is said to be first 3 seconds, right? So the distance s1, the distance s2, the distance s3 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ this s1, s2, s3 will be equal to 1 square is to 2 square is to 3 square, right? That is the ratio. So first 1 second, first 2 second, first 3 second. It means right from the starting point itself we are taking. Okay, so this is the first point which you have to remember. We'll go for the second point now. Second point is ratio of distances traveled in successive seconds. First second, second second, third second is 1:3:5:7:9. It is the ratio of odd numbers. Ratio of odd numbers. Okay, what is the difference between these 2 points then? ಏನು difference ಅದ? ಈಗ difference ಏನು ನೋಡ್ರಿ? We are dropping a ball from this point, right? And this is where the ball will be reaching in 1 second. In the next 1 second, here the ball will be reaching. In the next 1 second, here the ball will be reaching. Adra total journey ನಮಗೆ 3 seconds ಅದ. Total journey is of 3 seconds, right? So this is the distance traveled in first 1 second. The distance traveled in 1 second. Distance traveled in a second second. This is the distance traveled in a second second. Okay, distance traveled in second second. Distance traveled in first 2 seconds antandra from starting point to this point. This is said to be first 2 seconds. Distance traveled in first 2 seconds. Distance traveled in a second second antandre this is the distance traveled in second second. Distance traveled in first 2 second antandre from starting point to this point. Distance traveled in first 3 second from starting point to this point. This is called distance traveled in first 3 second. Distance traveled in first 3 second. If I ask you what is the distance traveled, where should I mark the distance traveled in third second only? Distance traveled in third second only is here. This is the distance traveled in third second only, right? So distance traveled in first second, distance traveled in second second, distance traveled in third second. Distance traveled in first 1 second, distance traveled in first 2 second, distance traveled in first 3 second, right? Okay, so distance traveled in successive seconds is ratio of odd numbers. You have to remember this. Okay, let us go to the next point then. Let us go to the next point. So the next point is, see, it is like this. Ratio of velocities after 1 second, 2 second and 3 second. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಡೌನ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಇದೆ, ಆ ಬಾಡಿ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬಂದಂಗ ನಮಗೆ ಅದರದ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಕೂಡಲೇ 1, 2 seconds ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಕೂಡಲೇ 2, 3 second, 4 second, 5 second. So the ratio of velocities will be 1:2:3:4. Like this will be the ratio of velocities, right? Okay, that is the third point. Next point. Fourth point is that in uniform acceleration motion, that is vertical motion, the distance traveled in every second increases by an amount equal to the magnitude of acceleration A. See, distance traveled in every second increases by magnitude of acceleration anta karate. So its meaning ಏನು? See, the meaning of this is okay, the meaning of this is, see here, I will note it down here. See, the meaning is, if the ball is here now, ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಲ್ ಅದ ರೀ, correct? In we are dropping that ball downwards. we have dropped that ball downwards, and let me say it has reached this point in 1 second. 1 second ಒಳಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ರೀಚ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, ಆ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ S1 ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇನ್ನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒಳಗ್ರಿ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, in the next 1 second, let me say in the next 1 second, so here also it has taken 1 second time only, here also it has taken 1 second time only, 1 second time only, but the distance traveled this time, the distance traveled this time will be equal to distance traveled in the previous second plus its acceleration, plus its acceleration. So it will be more. First 1 second ಒಳಗೆ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಗಿಂತನೂ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದ್ರಿ. ಇನ್ ಇತರ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದ್ರಿ. Here also it will take a time of 1 second only. Here also it will take a time of 1 second only. But the distance traveled in this third second will be equal to again S2 plus A. It will be greater than the distance traveled in the previous. Right? Okay. So we got to know what is the meaning of that, and that is what we have written here. Distance traveled in m plus 1 seconds is equal to distance traveled in mth second, previous second plus A, right? Okay, so in every second when it is falling down, in every second its distance goes on increasing. First if it falls this much, next it will fall this much, next it will fall this much, right? First this much and next this much and next this much, right? So it goes on increasing. Okay, we'll go to the next point then. So the next point is, see, at h max by 2, h max by 2 ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ? h max by 2 means what? See, let me show it here, let me show it here. See, if this is the point from where we are throwing the ball, and let me say the ball will reach this height, this is said to be its maximum height. So this is h max, this is h max, this is where it has reached. Half of the maximum height, this is said to be h max by 2, h max by 2, half of the maximum height, and this is said to be 3h max by 4, 3h max by 4, 3/4 of the maximum height, correct? See, when we have reached a height of h max by 2, andre now illige reach adaga its velocity will be u by root 2, it will not be half. Initial velocity andre ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು velocity ದಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ಥ್ರೋ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ, with how much velocity you throw it, ಅದ್ರದ್ದು half ಆಗಿರಂಗಿಲ್ರಿ. h max by 2 height half ಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗ velocity half ಆಗಿರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. Velocity ಎಷ್ಟಾಗಿರ್ತದಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ velocity will be u by root 2, velocity will be u by root 2. At what height? At maximum height by 2. At half of the maximum height, velocity will be u by root. And how much will be the time taken? Time taken will be equal to time of ascent, ಅಂದ್ರೆ total time taken to reach maximum height. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತದೆ? That is maximum height, sorry, that is time of ascent. Time of ascent into the bracket 1 minus 1 by root 2. This much will be the time taken to reach h max by 2. h max by 2 reach agalikke time taken will be time of ascent into the bracket 1 minus 1 by root 2. Okay, at 3 h max by 4, at 3 h max by 4 means here it is. So here the velocity becomes half. Nodri, half height velocity half agangilla, 3/4 height velocity half agtadri. So here the velocity will be u by 2. Here the velocity will be u by 2. ಎಷ್ಟು ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಇಂದ ನೀವು ಹೋಗದಿರ್ತೀರಿ ಆ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ನಮಗೆ ಹಾಫ್ ಯಾವ ಹೈಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? 3/4 of maximum height ಆಗ್ತದ್ರಿ. And at maximum height how much will be the velocity? Obviously it has to be 0. At maximum height velocity has to be 0. Time taken for the maximum height will be ta, time of ascent, and for 3/4 it will be half of time of ascent, right? So velocity no half ಆಗಿರ್ತದ್ರಿ, time of ascent ಕೂಡ half ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವ height ಗೆ? 3h max by 4 for this height, right? Okay. Next nodri, sixth last point is distance covered in first second of upward journey is equal to distance covered in last second of the entire journey. So what does this mean? If I have thrown a ball from this point, let me take some different color. Okay, if I have thrown a ball from this point, it will go upwards, it will reach the maximum height and it will come downwards. So this is the upward motion, this is the downward motion. What this point is suggesting? Distance covered in first 1 second of upward journey. Upward journey ಒಳಗೆ first 1 second ಒಳಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕವರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, that will be equal to distance covered in last 1 second of entire journey. Entire journey means up to down. So last 1 second ಒಳಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕವರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಆ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So distance traveled in first 1 second of upward journey is equal to distance traveled in last 1 second of the entire journey. These both will be equal, and they will be equal to u minus g by 2. They will be equal to u minus g by 2. Okay, next one more point we have, distance covered in last 1 second of upward journey equal to distance covered in first 1 second of downward journey. Okay, last 1 second of upward journey andre illige bantri. This is the last 1 second. Last 1 second of upward journey, right? I will call it as, let me take it as S2, last 1 second of upward journey. And that will be equal to distance covered in first 1 second of downward journey. So downward journey ಒಳಗೆ first 1 second ರೀ, ಇದನ್ನ S3 ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ. These both will be equal. S2 is equal to S3 and these both will be equal to G by 2. These both will be equal to G by 2, right? So these are the points which you have to remember, especially remember the ratios. Okay, well, see next, before going to this, we'll discuss one more case here. We'll discuss one more case. Very important thing. See, if from the top of a tower, see this is the tower ಅಥವಾ building ಅಂತ ನಾವು ತಗೋಬಹುದು. Let the height of this tower or the building be taken as h. See, from the top of the tower we are dropping a ball. We are dropping a ball. Let me take this as ball number 1 and we are dropping it. Ball number 1 we are dropping it. Dropping ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Initial velocity is 0. At the same instant, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಬಾಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯಾವಾಗ ನೀವು ಕೈಯಿಂದ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದೇ ಟೈಮ್ ಕರೆ ಅದೇ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕನೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಬಾಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಥ್ರೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. One more ball is thrown vertically upwards. I will call this as ball number 2. It is thrown vertically upwards with the initial velocity u. See, at the same time, this has been dropped and this has been thrown. Right? At the same instant, both the balls have been released. Right? Okay. So this will travel upwards. This will travel downwards. At certain point, the both balls will meet. ಎರಡು balls ನಮಗೆ ಈ height ಗೆ ಬಂದು meet ಆದವು ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಈ height ಗೆ ಬಂದು ನಮಗೆ meet ಆದವು ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So after how much time both the balls will meet ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಮಗೆ. At what time ಅಥವಾ after how much time both the balls will meet. So the time after which they will meet is t is equal to h by u. T is equal to h by u. At this time they will meet. T is equal to h by u. At how much height from the ground both the balls will meet. ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ದಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೈಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವು ಎರಡು ಮೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಹೈಟ್ ಅಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಅದನ್ನ y ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ. ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ y is equal to ut minus half gt square, right? So this much will be the height from the surface of earth where both the balls will reach. Okay, one more point you have to remember. After how much time or at what time the velocity of both the balls will be 0. Velocity of both the same. Velocity of both the balls will be same. Velocity of both balls is same at a time t is equal to u by 2g. At this time, velocity of both the balls will be same, right? So you remember, especially remember these both things, right? Okay, this is one case. We'll go for one more case now. One more case. See, let me say this is the tower. This is the tower whose height is said to be h. I am taking 3 balls here. All 3 balls have been thrown or dropped from the same height. All 3 balls have been thrown or dropped from the same height. This is ball number 1. This is ball number 2. And this is ball number 3. The first ball is thrown vertically downwards with a velocity u. It has not been dropped. Adu dropped alla thrown ball adare, right? Okay. And let me say this ball will take a time t1 to reach the ground. Ground reach aglika the t1 time ತಗೋತದ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. Second ball is thrown vertically upwards with velocity u. It will go up till a certain height and it will fall back to the ground. And the time taken by this ball to reach the ground is t2. So time taken by first ball to reach the ground is t1. Time taken by the second ball to reach the ground is t2. And this is the drop down body. Drop down body means initial velocity is 0. So it is dropped and the time taken by this ball is t3. Correct? Okay. Next, the relation between t3, t1 and t2 is like this. t3 is equal to, it will be equal to root of t1 into t2. Right? Drop down body's time it is. t3 means it is the time taken by the drop down body. Right? Okay. t1 is ball which is thrown downwards. Time taken by the ball which is thrown downwards. T2 is time taken by the ball which is thrown upwards. Clear? Okay, next note. ನಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, how much is the displacement of the ball to ಅಥವಾ how much is the height of the tower ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ height of the tower can be calculated by using the formula h is equal to minus ut plus half gt square. Same formula da, just ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ u negative ತಗೋಬೇಕು. Why we have to take u negative? u negative ಯಾಕೆ ತಗೋಬೇಕು? Because g acceleration due to gravity ಯಾವಾಗೂ downwards ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತದ್ರಿ. Acceleration due to gravity will always be downwards. Displacement of the ball nodri. If the ball starts its journey from this point, it goes to the certain height and it comes back to this point. So same height bantapa andre the displacement illik 0 aitandangri. So the displacement of this journey, journey the displacement 0. Hangadre ಏನಂದ್ರೆ displacement ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಏನದ, this is called as displacement. ಅಂದ್ರೆ height of the tower itself is displacement. In which direction that height is? It is in downward direction. So h ಮತ್ತು g ಎರಡು ನಮಗೆ downwards ಅದಾವ, u ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮಗೆ upwards ಅದರಿ. That's why u we have to take negative, right? So remember these two cases. So in this case, to calculate the height we have to use minus ut plus half gt square. So the same thing we can use in case of ascending ball also. So ಈಗ ಒಂದು balloon ascend ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ, from that balloon if you drop a stone, right? So how much will be the height of the balloon from the ground? That in that case also you can use the same formula. Clear? Okay, we'll go to some objectives on these concepts now, some questions on this concept. Okay, the first question is, a horizontal bridge is built across a river. A student standing on the bridge throws a small ball vertically upwards with a velocity of 4 meters per second. Okay, the ball strikes the water surface after 4 seconds. Okay, the height of the bridge above the water surfaces. Take g is equal to 10 meters per second square. Under this is from NEET 2023 NEET previous year question. This is, let me say this is the water surface and here is the bridge. This is the height of the bridge. So from this bridge a ball has been thrown upwards by a boy, and with how much velocity he has thrown it? With a velocity of 4 meters per second he has thrown it. It will go upwards and it will come back and it will fall to the surface of water. How much time it has taken? So total time it has taken is 4 seconds. 4 seconds time at the. So it is the same case. Now we previously discussed the other case, the height of the bridge, height of the bridge, height of the tower. So the formula is minus ut plus half gt square, right? So height of the bridge, here this is the height of the bridge. This is what we have to calculate, height of the bridge. So height of the bridge is minus ut plus half gt square, minus ut plus half gt square. Okay, so we want h. Okay, u yesterday, u is 4 meters per second, time is 4 seconds. So this will be minus 16 plus half g under 10 togolri antandre t square. T is 4 seconds, 4 square is 16. So 2 1s are 2, 8s are 16. So this is minus 16 plus 10 into 8 will be 80. So 80 minus 16 will be 64 meters. So the height of the bridge is 64 meters. Then which option is correct? Which option is correct? Option A is correct. Okay, let us go to the next question then. So the next question is, the ratio of the distance traveled by a freely falling body in the first second, second second, third second, fourth second, successive seconds ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, right? So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ratio ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. This is from NEET 2022. So the ratio in the successive distance traveled in the ratio of distances traveled in successive seconds is ratio of odd numbers, right? ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು. So it is option C. We'll go to the next question then. So the next question is, a ball is thrown vertically downward with a velocity of 20 meters per second from the top of a tower. It hits the ground after some time with a velocity of 80 meters per second. The height of the tower is G10 ತಗೊಳ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. See, a ball is thrown vertically downwards. Dropped ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದು. It is not dropped. It is thrown vertically downwards. It has been thrown. Height ನಮಗೆ h ಅಂತದೆ, and a ball is thrown vertically downwards. With how much velocity it has been thrown? It has been thrown with a velocity of 20 meters per second. With how much velocity it will hit the ground? It will hit the ground with a velocity of, its final velocity is 80 meters per second. Its final velocity is 80 meters per second. We have to calculate the height, right? Namak time gottilla, but height calculate madli. So you know initial velocity, final velocity, acceleration antu free adari. It is 9.8 meters per second. Sorry, 10 ತಗೊಳ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 10 ತಗೊಳ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. It is free, right? So I know u, v, a. Yes, I want. Yes, under displacement. H I want. So which formula I have to use? V square minus u square is equal to 2gh. This formula I have to use. Correct? How much is v square? V square is 80 square. 80 square under 6400, 6400. U square 20 square. 20 square means it will be 400. So this is 2. This is g is 10. 2 into 10 will be 20. H. So h will be equal to 6400 minus 400 will be 6000. 6000, right? Divided by 20. So 0 and 0 will get cancelled. 2 1s are 2 300s. So height of the tower is 300 meters. Height of the tower is 300 meters. Correct? So which option is correct then? It is option D. Well, we'll go to the next question then. See, the next question is, a stone falls freely under gravity. It covers distances h1, h2 and h3 in first 5 seconds, the next 5 seconds and the next 5 seconds respectively. the relation between H1, H2 and H3. See, first we have to understand about this H1, H2, H3. First 5 seconds, next 5 seconds, next 5 seconds. See, let me say the ball has been dropped from this point. Okay, a ball has been dropped. Stone falls freely antandre adu dropped antandangri. Right? A ball has been dropped from this point. Initial velocity is 0. So first 5 second ಒಳಗೆ ಇದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಅದು ನಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ h1 ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. h2 ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅದು ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ h1 ಫಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ h2. ಅದರ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ಅದರ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ the distance it has traveled is h3. This is the distance which is it has traveled in next 5 seconds. Correct? Okay. So first go for the first 5 seconds journey. First 5 seconds journey ಒಳಗೆ ನಾ distance traveled calculate ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ first 5 seconds ut plus half gt square formula use ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ u is 0, initial velocity is 0. So the formula remaining is half gt square. How much is the time taken for the h1? h1 ಗೆ time ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ 5 seconds. So this is 5 square ಅಂದ್ರೆ 25. So 25 g by 2 ಅಂತ ನಾ ಬರೀತೀವಿ. 5 square ಅಂದ್ರೆ 25 g by 2. T square is 5 square, that is 25 g by 2. So this is h1. Okay, next I will take a journey of first 10 seconds. First 10 seconds andre ಏನ್ರಿ, from the initial point to this point, this is the journey of first 10 seconds. Correct? So first 10 seconds I will take. First 10 seconds. In first 10 seconds, how much is the distance traveled? h1 plus h2. Distance traveled in first 10 seconds is h1 plus h2, and this will be equal to itardu initial velocity na 0 anta ತಗೋಬಹುದ್ರಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ first 10 seconds ಅಂದಿನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ starting point ಇಂದ ನಾನು ತಗೊಳ್ತೀನಿ, initial velocity is 0, so it will be half g t square. So the remaining formula is half g t square. How much is the total time taken? 5 seconds plus 5 seconds, 10 seconds, right? That is what we have written here. So h1 plus h2 will be equal to, see, t square under 10 square, that is 100 g by 2. I will get. Correct? Okay, if I want h2 is equal to 100 g by 2 minus h1. This h1 ಆ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಮೈನಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು. h1 ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ minus 25 g by 2. So how much will be h2? h2 will be 75 g by 2. h2 will be 75 g by 2. So I got h2. ನಮಗೆ h1 ಬಂತು, I got h1, I got h2. Similarly we have to calculate h3 calculate ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ರಿ, first 15 seconds journey ತಗೋರಿ, first 15 seconds journey, right? So in first 15 seconds, how much is the distance traveled? It is h1 plus h2 plus h3. This is the distance traveled in first 15 seconds. Correct? Okay. So what will be the formula? U is as usual again 0 because we are taking from the starting point only. So U is 0. Correct? So ut hoyta namak half gt square matra ulita, half gt square. How much is t? T estade, t namak 15 seconds ade. So 15 square is 225, right? So how much I got? h1 plus h2 plus h3, I got it as 225 g by 2. Correct? I can write it as 225 g by 2. I want h3. So h3 is equal to 225 g by 2 minus e h1 plus h2 now h1 plus h2 minus h1 plus h2. How much is h1 plus h2? It is 100 g by 2. So I will write it as 100 g divided by 2. So 225 minus 100 will be 125 g by 2. So h3 means it is 125 g by 2. So if I take the ratio of h1 is to h2 is to h3, how much is h1? 25 g by 2. How much is h2? 75 g by 2. How much is h3? 125 g by 2. G by 2 is common. So what I will get? 25 is to 75 is to 125. Right? If I take 25 common in this, I will get it as 1 is to 3 is to 5. 1 is to 3 is to 5. What does it indicates? It indicates that h2 is equal to 3 times of h1 and h3 is equal to 5 times of h1 ಅಂತ indicate ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. correct? H2 is equal to 3 times of H1, H3 is equal to 5 times of H1. Then which option is correct? Which option is correct? Here, yes, option D is correct. See, H1 is equal to H2 by 3. Andre ille ನೀವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬಹುದು, H1 is equal to H2 divided by 3, and here H1 is equal to H3 divided by 5. Correct? So which option is correct then? Option D is correct. Okay, let us move to the next question. So the next question is, a ball is dropped from a high rise platform at t is equal to 0 starting from rest. Okay, after 6 seconds another ball is thrown. First ball is dropped, second ball is thrown downwards from the same platform with a speed v. The two balls meet at t is equal to 18 seconds. What is the value of v? See, ಎರಡು balls ನಮಗೆ same height ದಿಂದ drop ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Two balls have been dropped from the same height. Let me say this is the height from where it has been dropped. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ drop ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. First ball has been dropped. First ball has been dropped, so initial velocity is 0. Right? ಆಮೇಲೆ two balls will meet at t is equal to 18 seconds ಅಂದಾರ್ರಿ. Okay, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎರಡು balls meet ಆಗಿದಾವ.